Welcome back to the SB Streamer Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Simeone. We are part of the Fantrax and FantraxHQ.com family. And on tonight's episode, we're going to actually try and predict the ADP for the first round of 2022. Basically an impossible task, but it's fun to do anyway. And this will be actually our last episode of the season, obviously, since it ends Sunday. Lauren, what's going on?
Not much, Michael. I mean, I have to say, I love this time of year. I know we're winding down with the baseball season, but October is around the corner. Postseason baseball's around the corner. I love this time of year. We have football going on at the same time. So I'm excited to be here in this whole sports environment right now.
Did you see, this is what I wanted to bring up before we started, and now I thought of it. So did you see Jeff Passan tweeted it? I think someone actually started it in Reddit, that it is possible for a 5-way tie, I think.
Oh, no. Let me see.
So there's definitely obviously a 3-way tie. Too bad. Okay. So there's possibility for a 4-way tie.
4-way tie.
The
Okay.
Mariners have to sweep the A's and the Angels to potentially get there for that. And then, damn it, it was all laid out and I can't find it now.
You had it. Where did it go? So it could be a 4-way tie.
Yeah, I think so. And there's definitely could be a 3-way. Where if the Blue Jays take 2 or 3 from the Yankees and sweep the O's, the Yankees take 2 or 3 from the Rays, and the Red Sox win 4 of 6 against Baltimore and Washington, there will be a 3-way tie for 2 AL wildcard spots.
Ooh,
and I think it's just one club plays another, and then the winner of that plays another, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is why I love this time of year. You know, it's just like it's so crazy. And no, I wasn't aware of that, but I love it. This is one of the reasons why I love baseball.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously very unlikely that it happens, but I still think that'd be pretty cool. And something, anything with I like the wild card games. I think they're extremely fun. The only problem is, and I don't know what your thoughts. I'm like going way off track here, but whatever. So it stinks because you have years like this with the Dodgers and the Giants. Like if the Cardinals beat one of those teams in the wild card game, that's like kind of tragic because those two teams were so good. And one of them, unfortunately, is going to be first in the division. The other one's not. So I do love the wild card game, but when it comes to that, it kind of stinks. And a lot of people are mentioning, I don't know if they'll ever do it. I'm a fan of it where it's like divisions don't matter, where it's just the best records make it in, kind of like
I agree with that.
Well, hockey does a point system, right? Like basketball does that, I think. I don't know.
No,
I don't really watch baseball or football.
I think they do divisions, I think. Basketball?
They do, but I don't know if it matters.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I don't remember 100%. I'm pretty sure it's just the top 8 in NBA make, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but yeah, so I feel like that would kind of make things better if they just went by overall record instead of like the division winners mattering really. What would your thoughts be on that?
I'm with you on that one. I fully agree. It's just kind of like, throw the best teams out there. I don't care where they are in the division.
Yeah.
Because that's how you want to see the best against the best, and so that I think, I'm with you on that.
All right, cool. So hopefully MLB will change that since they have to come up with the deal. But I'm sure a lot of baseball. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess old school baseball fans, they would absolutely probably hate that. So who knows? But
you think so? Yeah, like traditionalists.
I mean, they like tradition, They probably hit the wild card in the first place anyway. They probably just want it gone anyway. So, all right. So let's start off. We're gonna go with ADP for the first round of 2022. I'm gonna go one at a time. I'm gonna say who I think. Lauren's gonna say who she thinks, and then there's actually a mock draft done with some industry people. So we're gonna go off what actually happened in that mock draft to see. Where we are on it. And by the way, for anyone listening, this is not who we would take in this order. This is who we think will be taken in this order. So just know that. Don't be yelling at us saying, how could you person over that person? So yeah. So it'll be fun. All right, so let's start with the number one overall pick of drafts next season. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be Fernando Tatis.
Okay.
I think he's got that 40-40 upside. He's just plus, strong batting average. So he's a 5 category contributor.
Everything.
He's got everything. He's in a super strong lineup. And the shoulder issue. I mean, I going into this season, I was like, oh, like I was surprised if his shoulder still was attached to his body, but they've kind of figured out. They've been moving him around the field, but so there's a little bit of an injury concern, but I think that he's just across the board. I think he's the number one. I think there's high floor there, high ceiling. So I think it's Tatis Jr.
Yeah, I agree. I think without a doubt it's him. I mean, you can make case for someone I'm about to mention, but I mean, shortstop too. I mean, it's really hard to find that power. I mean, you can't find the power speed combo anywhere else besides him, but hard. I mean, it's even hard enough to find someone like him at shortstop too. So I think he's just so valuable, always will be. I'm sure whatever happened with the shoulder, they'll take care of that in the off season, but he's definitely number one or number two. In the mock draft, though, number one went Garrett Cole. So pitching can definitely be pushed up. That leads to who I think goes two, and I think Garrett Cole will go two. Last year, DeGrom was right there. He was basically 1-2 pick. In a lot of drafts, he actually started going 1 a lot towards the end. But I think Cole will be number 2. They think Cole number 1. They have Tatis number 2 in the mock draft. Who is your number 2, Lauren?
Vlad. I think I still am rolling with some hitters at this point over pitchers. Although I do agree with you. I think that I think this year pitchers are going to get bumped up. But I still, with the 1-2, I've got hitters here.
Yeah. I guess I'm thinking more I guess it depends. If it's home leagues, not NFBC, I can see it being hitters,
Yeah.
Whereas NFBC, there's always a pitcher up there now, just because it's so important. But don't tell me what number you have them, but who is your number one pitcher you think will be taken?
I still think it's going to be DeGrom. I think people can't.
You know what it depends on, and I think this is huge. I don't have DeGrom on my list at all, and DeGrom was not drafted in the mock as well. But you know what it is because my thinking and probably their thinking is we have to see what happens in the offseason with him. Because assume he comes out saying perfectly healthy, 100% going to be up there, no doubt. So I agree with that.
I agree with that. I was just going to say I also agree with kind of that thinking, but I still think that he's got a strong enough pull that he's going to be going in the first round.
It's very likely. It's definitely likely. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll, he's DeGrom. I'm sure he'll figure out a way to be healthy, and the hype will build on him again, and he'll just go up. All right. So who was your 3?
Trey Turner.
Okay. I have Turner at 3 as well.
Okay.
Why do you think Trey Turner's going to go that high?
I do. And I think that it's just, he gets a bonus now being on the Dodgers, but it's just it's really with him. We know about the steals, but this is the first year. He hit over 20 home runs, and so that combo with that elite batting average, super strong lineup. He's second base, shortstop, eligible. It's tough to go wrong there.
He's someone who could get 130 runs next season.
Yeah,
because of that team. So his value is definitely going to go up there. What are we on? Oh, so their the pick 3 in the mock draft that was done was Vlad Jr.
Okay.
So you were closer on Vlad than I was.
Okay.
Number 4, Trey Turner went in the mock draft.
Okay.
Number 4 for me is J-Ram. I think J-Ram might go 4. And I think Vlad's going to start off going early, kind of like what you think and the mock draft, what that happens. I have Vlad at 5. But I think he's going to fall back just because, no speed. You're getting average, really good average homers, RBIs, but you also got to think he's definitely going to regress a little bit because they're not playing in Buffalo anymore. And, I just think people are going to realize that they need to go more so for the power and speed, which JRM does. I could be wrong. So I have JRM 4. They have Turner 4. Who do you have at 4?
4. I have Soto.
Okay.
I thought, I don't know. Part of the reason that I like Soto because I think that he gives you such a high floor. I think that he's a very safe option, and I think that I expected to see a little bit more of a kind of downtrend in numbers across the board with him this season, and you haven't really seen it. Yes, he's not going to have as good of a lineup next year, but he's got the power, there's a little bit of speed there. He's got the batting average. I think that he's just a strong, safe floor guy. So yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely, I think in a points league, he's the number one guy off the board because of the walks. But yeah, I mean, he's essentially Vlad, but not as much power. But I think I would be, I think I would put Soto ahead of him just because Soto does steal a little bit. And I don't know, because then you got to worry there's no one really else in that lineup. So maybe he's just going to get walked a ton next year. And he's not going to have that many counting stats, but he's a little tough to figure out.
Yeah.
What number were we on? Oh, that was your 4. That was your 4.
That was 4, right? Yeah.
Okay, so number 5. They have in the mock draft, Soto went at number 5.
Okay.
Number 5, I had Vlad Jr. finally. Who was your 5th?
Ohtani. I have Ohtani.
Oh, okay.
Rolling there. Oh, Ohtani.
No, that's I see. I left him off mine.
Okay. Why did you leave him off?
So again, I'm thinking NFBC leagues. So those leagues, the pitcher hitter is separate. But I will say that in the mock draft at number 6, Ohtani did go, the hitter.
Okay.
Power, speed, not as good as average. So it does make sense. I guess I'm wrong. You know what? I think I just went with my own opinion here. People probably will love Ohtani there. For me,
I'm not saying I personally love it, but
no, right. I
think
just for some reason I left him off because I guess I'm assuming people are going to think the way I'm going to think, and someone who's pitching and hitting every day, I feel like there's so much room for injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess I thought people would think that way, but apparently not, because you have him at, what were we at, 5?
5.
5.
Yeah.
And in the mock draft, he went 6. So
okay.
I guess you're more right on that than I am. Who do you have at 6?
This is where I have DeGrom. I have
okay, so you went pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I have Bo Bichette.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's again kind of like Turner and Tatis, a position where it's really good to kind of get that power speed combo, a little bit of average, and Bichette kind of does all that.
Yeah.
And then just to reiterate, the mock draft had Ohtani at 6.
Okay.
All right, let's go to 7. Who do you have at 7, Lauren?
So I have Acuna at 7. Again, I think it's not where I would necessarily have him, but I think that he still will go high. I don't think he'll be ready for opening day, but I think that there's so much potential there that people, I think, were like you want Acuna. And I mean, my concern with him is that he won't be ready opening day, and who knows if he's going to run as much, certainly not out of the gate, so I don't know, maybe people understand that and get that, and he will be dropped lower, not even make the first round, or be at the tail end of the first round. But I still think that there'll be enough of a following with him that he goes, I think, pretty high, for what I think. So
the tough part with him is obviously it's all about the news with him and how he's recovering as well during the off season. I did see someone tweet today that they personally went through the same exact injury this year. And he's saying that, he obviously claims, which is smart. He's like, I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as gospel.
Yeah.
But he's like, based on my recovery, what my doctors expect, obviously I'm not as athletic as him, but he's like, I just don't see him being ready right away. But we'll see what happens. If he's healthy, definitely will shoot up high. If not, I guess it depends what the call is.
Yeah, and I feel like also like when you're talking about kind of first round picks, you want to kind of lessen risk, and I do think that he is a risk. So
definitely.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, number 7 in the mock draft, it was Jose Ramirez, who we talked about already. At number 7, I have Mookie Betts. And I know he's having not a good year, but I still think, that offense, again, power speed combo. I think a lot of people love that, and that's what you want to target in the first round. He was going high this year, so I feel like he's really not going to fall that much. I think he's definitely still going to be there.
Yeah, and I'm with you because that's my number 8. So.
Your number 8 is Betts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in the mock draft, Betts went number 8 as well.
Okay,
you're like right on line with
across the board. All right.
I'm the one who's way off here and a disaster. My number 8.
No right answers, Michael.
I know. My number 8 is Bryce Harper. I think people are gonna see what he did this year and just be all over it. He did steal more, which is what you wanted from him in fantasy. So he's finally becoming that player. Will he continue to steal is definitely somewhat of a question. But I think, he could definitely win MVP this year. So that's definitely going to push his price up into the middle of the rounds. Would you take Harper this early, Lauren?
No, but I do think that he falls in the first round. I think I
would take him.
I wouldn't take him right here.
I think I would maybe take him end of the first round.
Yep, and that's kind of, I believe that's where I have him. Yeah,
especially because he's outfielder, typically deeper position. You know what I mean?
But I think I could see him getting bumped up a bit because of like recency bias and people. He's coming off a really great season, so he may get bumped up a little bit in the draft. But yeah, if I'm taking him in the first round, it's going to be in the back end.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9, I have Soto, who we talked about already. I'm clearly, I guess he's going to be higher than I think.
Yeah. Okay.
They have Harper at 9, and then in the mock draft, who do you have at 9?
This is where I went with Cole here. So I finally went in with 2 pitchers here at this point.
Gotcha. All right. So you're 2 pitchers in. For me, I'm 1 pitcher in, and for the mock draft, they are 1 pitcher in because Ohtani was the hitter. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
So honestly, I'm really right there with you, except a different pitcher. At 10, I am assuming Max Scherzer will be going.
Ooh, okay.
I think he looks like he's back. A lot of people are going to be all in on him. They're going to think that, maybe the injury, the back problems aren't there anymore. And, he's obviously right there for Cy Young as well. Before I ask you who you have at 10, would you take Scherzer in the first round?
No, I think he's a top 5 pitcher for me, but he would be my 5th. And I don't, no, I don't think I'd take him in the first round. But he's close.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I don't think so either. I mean, again, anyone who's listening, don't take this as gospel because me and Lauren haven't done off-season research yet. We're just kind of going with this off the top of our heads here.
It's a fun exercise.
Yeah, and you got to see ADP. There's 1,000 things that come into play. But off the top of my head, I don't know if I would do it. Maybe if I'm 15, but that's just because at 15 I could go back-to-back picks. So, it's whatever. But I don't think I would do it. But I do think he's going to be pushed up this season. In the mock draft, Bo Bichette went here. Who did you have at 10?
I have J-Ram here. So.
Okay. Who we talked about already. All right, number 11. I actually have the same exact player as the mock draft. So let's ask you first, Lauren. Who do you have at 11?
I have Bichette here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're all, well, I assume Bichette's going earlier, but I think Bichette and Vlad are definitely going to be a little inflated because not that they don't deserve to be here, but I think a lot of people just are going to see their crazy numbers, really good lineup, which makes sense. But I just feel like the amount of time they got in that ballpark in Buffalo, which is like hitter heaven, definitely inflated their numbers a little bit. So I feel like people are going to push them to where they're going at their ceiling.
I agree.
So Yeah. All right, so you went Bichette. So at 11, me and the mock draft with industry people in it, we all both went Corbin Burns.
Okay, so he's my next guy. I had him at 12.
Okay, so you have Burns
so kind
next.
of in the same neighborhood there, yeah.
And then I actually am the same as the mock draft again. It's 12. Okay. I have Acuna. That's where they have Acuna.
Okay.
So we pretty much at this point have all the same players, except you have I don't have Ohtani and you have DeGrom in there.
Right. Yep.
And are you missing someone? I don't know.
No, I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So so at this point, I mean, we're at pick 12. I'm assuming 3 pitchers are going. The mock draft is assuming 2 is going, and you have 2, or
I have 2 going. 2. Yeah.
Okay. And that was
it will
DeGrom and Cole.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, wait. No. I've got 3 too. Wait, at 12, I've got DeGrom, Cole, and Burns. Yeah.
Okay. So you have 3 as well. All right. So it's pretty much same as last year. It was, who was it? It was Cole, DeGrom, and Bieber, right?
Yeah, it was Bieber.
We're all going early, top 3. So kind of the same thing we're looking at here for next season, where we're getting like 3 pitchers early on. All right, number 13. I feel like these next 3 are definitely going to be pretty different. 13 in the mock draft, Brandon Woodruff went, which is a pretty big statement.
I have.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah.
Look at that. Okay. I'm a huge Woodruff fan. So would you take Woodruff here?
No, I wouldn't. I would probably take Buehler over Woodruff, I think.
Okay. See, I think the same thing. I think it's going to be so hard. I feel like if DeGrom is healthy, let's say DeGrom comes out perfectly healthy, in March, and is like, I have nothing wrong with me, blah, 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 whatever. So I feel like DeGrom, Cole, I would say Burns and Scherzer are like definite top 4s probably. And then I feel like it's going to be really hard and nitpicky to pick between like Woodruff, Buehler, Wheeler, those types are going to be so hard to decide who you want.
Yeah.
But they're all just as reliable too. Yeah. All right. So they had Woodruff, you had Woodruff. I actually had Devers here.
Okay.
I'm definitely different on this one. I think Devers, I think he will be pushed up. I feel like there's a lot of Devers fans out there. And there's a lot of love for Devers as well, which deservedly so. I do think he is good. So I could see him in the first round. I think he'd be borderline, like end of first, early second. I personally wouldn't take him in the first. I'd probably wait till the second.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do you have at 14?
This is where I have Harper kind of squeaking in the first round at 14.
Oh, that's who we're missing. You had okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you have Harper. In the mock draft, they now had Buehler, and I have Mike Trout. I don't think he's. I want to say I don't know. It's so hard to do this without full research, but I don't think I would take Trout in round 1. Because here's the thing: whether you like it or not, he's clearly injury prone at this point, and also whether you like it or not, I think it's hamstring, right?
Yeah.
His hamstring injury is apparently really bad, like worse than Donaldson. And like, look how it's plagued him. So I feel like there's just a lot of risk with Trout right now. Obviously the ceiling is, best player in fantasy, especially if he decides to randomly steal again, which I don't see him doing, but especially with now his leg injury. But I mean, he can be Vlad essentially, but there's more risk there.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I debated him. I was like, is he, will he make that first round? And to me, I think right at the end, I ultimately didn't include him in the first round. But I think that he was getting, he's kind of getting pushed down drafts last season. And that was without a season where he's only played like 36 games. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't,
I think he will, because I think there's a lot of Trout lovers out there. You know what I mean? And I think they don't want to think that he actually has issues going on. Because I mean, it's true. He's the best skill player there is. And he's right there, where like if Vlad is going top 3 in a draft, why shouldn't Trout if he's perfectly healthy?
Right.
And a lot of people have that mentality and not really think like, the risk that really comes with him. So I think it's just, you're going to have those people who still believe in him, and there's a lot out there. And I think that's what's going to push him into the first round still. But it sounds like you and I will not be taking him.
We will not.
So I had Trout, they had Buehler. Who'd you have at 14?
Who did I have at 14? Well, I had Harper at 14.
Oh, right. Okay.
14,
So who do you got at 15?
15, I round out with Buehler.
Okay, I rounded out with Buehler too, and they have Wheeler at 15. So in that mock draft, they went 3 pitchers back to back to back: Woodruff, Buehler, Wheeler. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I do think that pitchers will get pushed up, and it's just kind of a matter of where, if you kind of, like if I guess in the industry draft, if you have Cole going 1 overall. Who did you have number 1 overall?
I had Tatis, like you.
Oh, Tatis. Okay. Yeah. Where did you have Cole? Like 2?
I had Cole at 2.
2. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just, I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting to see where these guys are going. I agree with you. I think that there will be, you can kind of have your top 4 or 5. And then at that point, it's like, Woodruff, Buehler, like Scherzer, like who are you choosing here? Wheeler, who are you going with? And I think it'll just be kind of like a personal preference, but I think this is where you'll see a lot of pitchers go out, like
and that happened last season too, where towards the end of the drafts, there was you saw everyone going pocket aces towards the end of the drafts, and it made sense. And I mean, I see a lot of people hate on it, but I have to say my best teams in FBC are ones where I took pitchers early.
Really?
So, there's definitely something to it. It's definitely, something that people need to consider, because getting that ace is pretty big, and can really carry your team. Unfortunately, a lot of those pitchers, one pitcher I took a lot early in drafts was Lucas Giolito, who did not do the best this season. But so before we end this and everything, though, I'm going to ask you some questions randomly. Who would you say is one player that kind of like saved you this season? Like, who is one player that you took that really overperformed and kind of like broke out for your team?
Probably. I mean, who overperformed?
Because not overperformed, but like maybe took a next step. Like just someone who like you drafted late and was really good. Like I tweeted the other day that like 2 of mine were like Austin Riley was huge for me. And oh my gosh, I can't think of the second one.
I actually did. Austin, I have shares of Austin Riley, and that's true. I think in kind of in the same vein, like Dansby Swanson also. Marcus Semien actually is someone that I think kind of went above and beyond what I expected. So he was a little bit of a lifesaver for me.
Did I tell you about my worst trade of all time this season?
Remind me again. I feel like you did.
I traded in a points league. It was really early on though, so no one freak out on me too much. It was like, I think it was legitimately in April. And I was a fan of Gleyber coming to the season, which completely wrong. But anyway, coming into the season, so when he started to underperform a little bit in the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe I could jump on him cheap. I had Semien on a team, and I didn't think Semien was going to be that good. I thought he was someone who needs to get a ton of at-bats to really get any kind of counting stats and all that stuff. So I traded Semien for Gleyber Torres.
Yep.
Is that good? Was that a good trade? What do you think?
No, I don't know. It was close, Michael.
My other player was Robbie Ray. I have talked about him a couple times and how I just, I don't know who will be down there. I'll try and point them out if I see anybody. But if there's anyone going late that has a really high strikeout rate like Robbie Ray did, just take a shot on them, because if they put it together, then you end up with Robbie Ray and what he did this year. And even if they don't, one, you're taking late, so you could just drop them.
It's like,
and
so
two,
what? Yeah.
You're getting the strikeouts, so it's not like they're not getting you anything, and you could just play matchups. So like, look for any pitchers that are going late in drafts that just like have those high K rates and like can just, if they do right the ship somehow, one way or another, can just break out like Robbie Ray did this year.
And that's good advice.
So, yeah. Okay. Next question before we go. Do the Braves make the playoffs?
Yes. Yes.
I'm shocked at that answer.
Yes. Although this will be a good game tonight. We're like about 10 minutes in at this point with Charlie Morton and
oh yeah. How's it going?
And what's his face? Is it Wheeler?
Wheeler?
Yeah. So once we're done with this, I will pop in and see how that's looking.
Who do you think wins the National League? So you got, it looks like it's either Braves or Phillies. Then you got Brewers, Cardinals, Giants, Dodgers.
Well, I'm going to just roll with my Braves here. I'm just going to be a homer here and say Braves. Come on. Would you do the same with the Mets?
Who do you? I mean, I'm a very pessimistic Mets fan, so I would definitely assume they lose instantly. But I have to say, before we move on to the AL, the NL would be really cool. Not cool, but I think it would be awesome to just see everyone go crazy. Kind of like we mentioned, if the Cardinals just beat one of the Giants or the Dodgers in that one game playoff, that would just be awesome because it would cause complete chaos.
Totally.
Personally, I think I actually kind of think the Brewers get there.
Yeah.
Their pitching is just like, I mean, I know Freddie Peralta's been, stumbling along a little bit, probably getting a little tired there, but they're pretty smart with resting their players. But I mean, facing Burns and then facing
really
Woodruff,
anyone.
Burns and Woodruff, it's just like, how do you win, a series going against those two? It's just, but then again, you go with the Dodgers and it's like, how do you beat a team that has Scherzer, Buehler, oh my gosh, help me out. Kershaw, who's just come back. Like how do you beat them too? So it's definitely really, really tough to pick there. But I'm gonna roll with the Brewers. You're rolling with the Braves, which is boring. All right. What about what about the AL? AL is going to be between Rays, Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, maybe, White Sox, and then the Astros. Most likely.
I'm going to roll with the Rays. I feel like the Rays just know how to get it done, and they're just so good. I feel like in these kind of instances, and they know how to, it's the Rays are going to Ray. They just figure out a way to win, and they're just so kind of stat driven that it just has worked out for them. So and I like to see that. So I'm going to roll with the Rays. How about you?
I'm going to take a shot here and say the Blue Jays. I think if the Blue Jays get in, they're definitely going all the way. I just think it's going to be so hard to stop them because Robbie Ray looks great. Alek Manoah looks amazing. They have Barrios. I mean, it's just like they're really, and then that offense is like undeniably one of the best offenses.
Yeah.
Like how are you gonna, you know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be interesting. I kind of hope they make it there, and I hope they get a chance to play because they're so young, so exciting, and it would be so good for baseball for them to do something this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens. I will say, I think I remember last year I heard an interesting stat. I don't know it off the top of my head exactly, but the team with the best plate discipline, I think like highest walk rate and stuff like that, every year always goes to like the championship game. Really? Not every year, but like
but like a high percentage.
Every year. Yeah, of like the high. So I wonder who that is, but we'll see. All right. So who wins the World Series? And it cannot be the Braves.
Okay.
Let's say the Braves aren't in the playoffs. Who would you pick to win that now? How about that?
I actually would. I agree with you. I think it's roll with the Brew Crew. Okay, I think that they're tough. Yeah.
Okay. So Brewers, Rays, who do you pick will win the World Series?
Brewers.
Okay. I was actually going to go with them too.
Okay.
I think they'll make it there. We'll see what happens though. But I do like that team a lot. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. It's exciting times right now, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Between that, like you said, that football, it's just like,
I know.
The best of times.
I love it. And they're like, the weather starts to turn. I love it. I love it.
Cooler.
Sign me up. Yeah.
All right, guys. That does it for this season. We are going to take a break of either at least a month and a half, maybe 2 months. We're going to kind of see how it goes. I might pop in some stuff a little bit here and there, just on like random like player evaluations or something as I prep for our draft kit and to release my top 100 rankings for starters. We do have a new website coming out probably next month. New membership, a lot of new things happening, which is pretty exciting and cool. If you do want to support us, you can join our membership still on the old website until the new one is up. And that will actually change. The new membership is a little different, a lot more involved, but we got a lot of cool stuff going on. You guys will see. And yeah. I don't know what else
very
to say.
Exciting. Yes, I know.
Me and Lauren, we were. So I was working on. We're actually working on a guest list. We're gonna figure out who we're gonna bring on. What I'll probably try and book everyone extremely early, because everyone's gonna want everyone on their podcast. But we'll also be doing some solo pods too. We'll try and keep it interesting for you guys. We probably won't do just like plain rankings because everybody does that. We'll try and switch it up and do some things that other people aren't. This way, it can maybe help you a little better, learn new stuff compared to what everyone else is saying.
Diversify.
Yes. Yeah. We definitely will probably go through my rankings at some point though.
That's fine.
Just because we are pitching. So
it's
mainly pitching. So we have to kind of do that.
Yes.
All right. So that does it. Thanks again, guys. Follow me on Twitter at SP Streamer. Follow Lauren on Twitter at LK Auerbach. The K always throws me off.
I know. I know.
Sorry. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us for the last 2 months of the season.
It has been fun, and I'm looking forward to next season. Yes.
Hopefully, maybe we'll get lucky and get a player on. That'd be pretty cool.
Ooh, that'd be very exciting. Swing. Yep.
Maybe we get Lorenzen on again. That'd be cool too. We'll see what happens. But yeah. All right, guys. Cool. You'll hear from us randomly. I don't even know when, so I'm not even pretending to tell you a date. But I hope we helped you guys win your leagues. Enjoy some fantasy football if you do play fantasy football. If not, just start prepping for next year for baseball then. Don't forget to follow us on everything, YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff really helps support us. Rate and review too if you can as well. And that does it, guys. So we will talk to you whenever we talk to you.
Talk to you later.
Later, guys.